Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gad, your host. Now, a person want to update their natal chart. We've already done the numerology in a previous video today, so you might see that video. But now we're going to go right in on the natal chart. Now, the ascendant is Libra, and it is in the first house. So, we talked a lot about Libra when we did the numerology, but I will say Libras do like compromise and they like fairness, balance. They can be concerned with social issues, and they tend to try to they like people to be able to work things out and things, and they can get upset if people don't work things out. But sometimes they can be similar to Virgo. Like Libra can be somewhat of an idealistic, and they'll get in a relationship and then feel like they could get a better situation. And we already discussed this because of the numerology, but they might actually mess the relationship up. So if you want the numerology, which was already said, I may try to put it in the description box, so you can see that first, because this person has a lot of unique numerology. So we definitely looked at the real unique aspects of numerology on their chart. So they just have to make sure they're not being too like a perfectionist, too critical, because again, that's Virgo. And even they alluded to having secret sides, like coming to conclusions without talking to a person, because there's no way you can have a relationship with anybody if you're going to be coming to all kind of and not giving a person a chance to speak or explain, and that could be considered deceptive. And they said, you could actually be ruining relationships. And I just did a Libra on a video that's also on another channel, and explained all of that. Because Libra's got to want to, if you're in a relationship, you got to want to communicate. You have to want to try to be honest and try to work through it. And sometimes when Libra's in a situation, they may agree to disagree, but they'll still try to sneak their way in. And that's kind of like nagging, because somebody might be tired of talking about it. Like let it go. They may not let it go. And Virgo's kind of like, Virgo can do that too. Virgo can just nitpick and criticize. So you don't want these qualities when you're talking about relationships, because that's how you can end up, that's how you can ruin a relationship. And also some people say, oh, unconditional love me for, but that can only go but so far. That can go but so far. The ascendant is where the sun was going over the horizon when you were born. So your sun sign and your ascendant are right at 12 degrees. And we already did what the number 12 is. We looked at numerology. We looked at the degrees, so you can just remember what that was. The east point is where the sun was going over the ecliptic when you were born. But again, you see, often on natal charts, you see them trying to balance the masculine light energy with the feminine dark energy. And they're kind of trying to do that with you with the 13 degrees. The 13 degrees can be the feminine darkness. Now, Aries is your first house. But Aries is supposed to be at I am. But now you have Libra, which is about partnership. So you have to be careful, because it's going to be in your personality to want a partnership. But then when you go to your partnership sector, you have Aries there and a lot of retrogrades. So you have to be aware of that. It's kind of backwards. And your first house, you should want to see more independence and free thought, because it's your person. It's how the world sees you, your personality. But in the seventh house, you really want to, if that's about working with people, contracts, relationships, partnerships, you really want to be more talkative. So, and that is your true north node. which we will look at more with more clarity when we get there. So that's your first house. And we'll wait. Even though you're, oh, and you do have Uranus there. And I think I just did a Uranus in Libra. So let's just see. But that Uranus is going to carry energy into your 12th house as well. So we're going to take a look at that. So Uranus in Libra means great transformations in marriage and partnerships, law and art. Unconventional, previously unacceptable, or new ways of relating, such as homosexual group or just more loosely defined unions became more commonplace. So what I think I'm going to do, because you need to hear that other video, at least the Libra section, because this is exactly what we had. But like the universe, that's how the universe works. Like I'll get a whole batch of Pisces, a whole batch of Aquarius. It's how the universe is working. So this person with Uranus and Libra, they really want somebody that makes them feel a certain way. Otherwise, they're going to hit you with all this. I guess they're kind of protecting themselves. So I really do want to explain that. But I mean, I'll still explain it here. But if you want to hear it, it's just going to be better because it's the first time and I was just getting the information. Whereas now I can just sum it up. But that one was going to be more because I was just finding this stuff out by studying it. But anyway, this is a person who maybe something happened in their life or a past life where they're protecting themselves. But they protect themselves by being overly, like they want the ideal man. And even if they get a man and he's like a good man, they're going to find a reason to find fault with him. And it's going to kind of go into separation, or they're going to put strains in a relationship, or even break up. And whenever you see Libra, you have to be careful because it can become lawful. Like even with partnerships, they may find themselves in legal situations. So this person has to learn how to date people without being a perfectionist or being unrealistic. But they don't mind. They're more interested in the feeling. And that's why in that video I talked about how a female, like just said, they wanted to be like I seen two female boxers and they were staring each other down. So the other boxer got real close to her and they were staring each other down, and then the other boxer kissed her. So that was like, oh shoot. So she kind of pushed her away a little bit, but then she was laughing. So then, because that shocked the whole, but two women kiss in public, they're supposed to be boxing a standoff. So the woman said, then she was saying stuff like, yeah, that surprised me and blah, blah, blah. But then she was saying, but I kind of needed a kiss anyway because I haven't had one in a while. So it's crazy shit. But that's the type of shit you see with Uranus and Libra. Because they want something to make them feel a certain way. Like if they got a good man, but he's boring, they're not going to want to be there. In fact, they may even begin to test the relationship, or they test boundaries to see if, where he is and stuff like that. And so I talked about that. So if a guy, say if she was talking to a guy and he just out the blue kissed her, depending on the female, like she might smack the crap out of him, or she might even say, she might even do more. Like, how dare you just do that to me? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. You don't just take it. But if a female did that, like if a female just grabbed her ass and kissed her, it would turn her on because number one, it's taboo. And see, we're going to get into Scorpio too. it's taboo, and then second, it's kind of like shocking. And this is what this person with Uranus and Libra likes, and that's just a fact with Uranus and Libra. So this person may go through a lot of different relationship changes. They may go through a lot of relationship partners. And be careful of your kidneys, because this person might have kidney problems. So they like to relate, because Libra is a social sign. So this person likes to relate to a lot of stuff. So they want everybody to know their knowledge and what they know and things like that. So what I'm going to do in this video in the description box is bring those other two videos together. So I'll label them, and if you're interested in seeing them, they'll be in the description box. So I'm going to put this on pause. Alright, so that's her first house. Now in the second house, Scorpio. Alright, well, your second house is always going to be your money house, your possession house, and your value system. Now Venus rules Libra and Taurus. So your second house is ruled by Taurus. So because Mercury is retrograde, you're going to have to watch your, because you're going to be misunderstood. So whenever you communicate, you're going to be misunderstood. So you have to really find a way to make sure people understand what you're saying. And this is what I mean by, because we already said in your first house when we did your numerology, they said some of your relationships might fail because you don't really talk. Like you just observe and come to conclusions. And also, Uranus and Libra will tend to just pull away. You know, like it may not even be. It's just something you observe, but it may not be because you don't necessarily ask the person, hey, how did that happen and why. So you just start to withdraw, which isn't good because maybe you're seeing something that didn't really happen. All right, so you have to really watch communication problems. So what I'm going to do, first we're going to talk about Neptune and Scorpio. Then we're going to talk about Scorpio in the second house. And then we'll get a little bit into Venus, and because like I said, you're gonna have because your second house is also your relationship house now because you got Venus and Juno there. All right, so again, so we're in the sector money, finances, possessions, and value systems. All right, so we're gonna do it again, Neptune and Scorpio. So Neptune and Scorpio is going to open up the psychic side of life, but you have to be careful because you might try to escape through drugs, alcohol, sex, just using any practices such as meditation or any spiritual practice, but it's for the wrong purpose. It can be addiction or escapism. And that's what they were saying, like in her relationship, she has this power around her. So she may actually be seeking it and things like that. But what I'm getting is that the power is not necessarily making the relationship better. It's something like it's like protecting her or something. So when you're dealing with Scorpio, you're either going to transform or degenerate, and that's the dangers of it. Kind of like you see a rock and roll group come out of something, they're just making a lot of money, and they're just blowing up the worldwide. They're making great money and everything. Everybody's talking about them, but they're all getting high and getting drunk and just degenerating. And they say the people during the 1960s with Neptune and Scorpio, they were souls incarnating at this time, and they were paying off past karmic debts by being born to parents abusing drugs. So then the exploration with outer and inner worlds began with the space program and the importation of Eastern philosophy, techniques, and hallucinatory drugs or substances. So when you're dealing with Neptune and Scorpio, you're dealing with psychics and sensitives, which can be intuitive people. So you have the psychic and the sensitive or intuitive. Now, if afflicted, the misuse of psychic energy and past lives require purification in this one, or the opening of psychic centers can result in obsession. This person is unafraid of the dark side of life and they're interested in esoteric religion, the mystical and occult, and that's why we saw that 33. And this person may have used sexuality and physical desires as also being spiritual. So if they meet a person that makes their Libra feel this is ideal, it's what I'm looking for, then their Scorpio side is going to be very sexual. But again, this is in your financial sector, money sector, and how your value system. So in your second house, it's just giving that implication of possible financial loss due to that Neptune Scorpio connection. Because that's getting high, escapism. At the end of the day, it's like seeking something to make you get through life, help you through life with, either sex or some type of addiction. So now we have to look at Venus and Scorpio. Venus and Scorpio, you love sex and relating spiritually, and need intensity, depth, power, personal growth, and transformation in love and relationships. You know how to use your intense relationships to further your own ends and get what you want, but have difficulty being an equal or sharing power with intimates. Thus, you may frequently change and refine your relationships, and that's the same thing with Uranus and Libra, but discard them when they no longer serve your purpose. You love to get deep under the surface of things and explore the mysterious and the unknown. You can be manipulative, but mask self-centeredness with an outwardly friendly manner. Now I was just dealing with a person. Same thing, a lot of Scorpio. Same way. Sold me out one time, came back, apologized for selling me out. In her own way, she tried to make it up, and then sold me out again. So, a lot of weird stuff going on out here. Your love life, and I'm not talking, that wasn't a relationship. That's more like a friendship. Like some of these people out here, I'm kind of cool with. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm real funny who I'm around and stuff, because just people just do funny stuff. Your love life and intimate relationships are often an area in which power and control are played out. This is all Scorpio 8th house. Your karma in this life is tied in with self-will and love. Your karma in this life is tied with self-will and love. In general, your personal values and your conception of love need to evolve and be transformed. And that's funny because I didn't even mention values. I just said Venus and Scorpio, but he still mentioned your values. We'll push it right in the second house. And we're not nowhere done with your second house yet. You are extremely magnetic to the opposite sex and very passionate, yet may be inhibited as well. If true, don't you be taken in by your intense sexuality. This persona may be covering up unconscious elements in your psyche, and that's why you need to listen to that video, because I really went in. Because this like I said, everything comes in batches. So that's why I say the secret to all of this stuff is don't be selfish. Like, don't feel like, what does this have to do with me? Why do you say that and all that? Because you're staying in ego, you're staying in third dimensional. And if you just opened up and listen, you might actually hear something that's going to help you improve and get over whatever humps you have in the universe. Because otherwise, you stand in ego, you're getting offended, you're looking for a fight, and that's just silly to me. Especially when we're grown adults, that's just silly to me. Like, that's stupid. That's like you pull up in a gas station, the guy puts the gas in just like you asked, and then you just start arguing with him. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Like, what are you talking about? So, I try to avoid that type of energy. All right, up unconscious elements in your psyche. So there might be unconscious elements in your psyche that you have yet to deal with. So you're dealing with Scorpio, 8th house relationship, wherever your relationship sectors are, and that 12th house, which we haven't gotten to yet. So it says you feel a need to control your intimate partners and have difficulty relating to them on an equal level. They keep saying that. When someone gets close to you, you can become fearful or a compromise or cooperation because they entail an element of letting go of the control in which you feel you need to protect yourself. Now that's why I set up. I'll put those two videos. One video is about this natal chart's numerology. That'll be in the description box. And the other video is about that other person who has similar to this person. A somatic therapy would be ideal to help you become more conscious of these childhood patterns. So instead of saying emotional, he just said childhood patterns, or immature, he said childhood. Once aware and independent of them, your self-worth can release you to being a guiding light to others. Alright, so that was good. So your second house is a little rocky, and unfortunately, because it's going to affect the money one way or another. So Juno is telling you may find somebody in a relationship that's just like we just said. Now, just Scorpio is real psychic. But Scorpio can doubt things, just Neptune. So they just assume negative. Neptune and Scorpio, they both assume negative. Like if you give them any information and they have to draw a conclusion, it's going to tend to be negative. That's just known. That's like a fact. Now, I'm not saying in every case and all that. Somebody may say, oh, that's not true because of this reason. But generally speaking, that's a general rule. Now, Neptune is going to be bringing you dreams, and your dreams, and also unreality, a lot of idealism, and it is a lot of power struggle, transformation, a lot of mystery, a lot of intensity in sex, a lot of doubt. But a Scorpio, once they do trust you, it takes them a long time to trust you. Once they do, they can be very faithful. But you just have to be careful, because if you try to hide something from them, then they're going to bust you. They're going to find out about it, bust you. And once you cross them, they're not going to forget. and they have a good memory, and they can get you back. They won't tell you. They're very strategic. Like they already told you, this person's highly intelligent, just like the other person was, and then they will be strategizing on payback. And they have Palace helping them with patterns as well as with social issues. That's why Palace is kind of close to where Libra is. And they might meet a person in a relationship that's just like that as well. And also they can be nurturing because the Keras asteroid is the nurturer. And again, now we still got to read about your 8th house because Scorpio rules your 8th house. Now the big deal about your 2nd house is your 2nd house is supposed to be about your money, but Scorpio's there. And Scorpio rules your 8th house, which is about other people's money. So in your money sector, you have other people's money there. So that's something to keep in mind. And that can also be a problem when you have Mercury retrograde, because then there's misunderstandings. And you really don't want to have misunderstandings with other people's money, because then you might be dealing with the law. And both Scorpio and Libra deal with the court system. So you got to be very, very aware of that. Very aware of that. So we're going to learn about Scorpio. And if we're learning about Scorpio, we're going to be learning about your 8th house as well. So I'll be back. All right, so Scorpio in the 2nd house, which Scorpio really rules the 8th house. But the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. Deals with secrets, sexual matters, mysteries, doubt, accusations, suspicions, supernatural psychic abilities, internal plotting, internal indignation, conspiracy, vengeance, revenge, anxiety, esoteric knowledge, forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge. Gotta remember, like, a Scorpio is a very watery sign, high intensity, high emotions. And again, that's just not the best place to have Scorpio in your money, possessions, and value system sector, especially with Venus and even Neptune, because that could mean money problems. Hidden knowledge. This is all the 8th house. Hidden knowledge, obsessions, addictions, compulsion, power struggles, power manipulations, abuse, greed, lust, compulsive behavior, codependencies, stalking, intense watery emotions, arguments, debates, tauntings, revenge, fear, intensity, psychic abilities, great transformations, high sexuality, doubt, debt, taxes, IRS, legal matters, court, lawsuits, inheritances, law breaking, shared resources, finances, business, karma, other people's money, the soul, reincarnation, afterlife, birth, death, resurrection, rebirth, regeneration, rejuvenation, animalistic behaviors, freaky, down and dirty behaviors, psychological situations, studies, research, knowledge, forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, investigations, investigators, managers, agents, addictions, drugs, alcoholism, other worlds, creepy qualities, other dimensions, science, higher sciences, holistic healing, spiritual healings, alternative medicine, internet, long distance, advanced technology, alchemy, metaphysics, sacred geometry, things that are forbidden, taboo, astrology, knowledge, hidden knowledge, aliens, higher life, deceived persons, astral planning, telekinesis, telepathy, dreams, interpretations, animals, enemies, Halloween, the divine womb, deities, tarot cards, higher thoughts, inheritances, loans, banking, animals, pregnancy, woman's body, and finance. Now, the 8th house deals with other people's money, but that's in your 2nd house. So your 8th house is in your 2nd house because of Scorpio. Debt, taxes, inheritances, wills, joint finances, shared resources, and loans. So in any of these areas, it could be a plus or not a plus, because you're also dealing with Neptune, which can be deception. You're also dealing with love. So it could go either way. It doesn't have to go that way, but it might even be love, which causes you to lose a lot of money because it's a deception. And plus you're thinking like sexually, and you're thinking with emotions, and you also lose a lot of money. Transformations can be mental, emotional, physically. It could be sex, start of life, pregnancy, process of life, and major transformation in a woman's body. And it could be death, which is either literally or figuratively. And like I said, when you're dealing with high intensities in the second house like this, you have to be very careful. The 8th house is one of 3 relationship houses. The 5th house, love. 7th house, commitment. 8th house, sex. So again, whenever we're dealing with Scorpio, it can be help a person degenerate, go lower, or go higher. So I guess it really depends on the person. Scorpio is very powerful, but you just have to make it work for you, because it is the 8th house. Your 8th house and the 12th house, they deal with the shadow personality, past lives, subconscious, dreams. All right, so your 3rd house is all about communication, and you have Sagittarius there, so that's usually somebody who could speak more than one language. It can also be like what we would call a foreign family, long distance family. Your 3rd house is ruled by Gemini. It deals with younger education, short travel, short distance travel, creativity, surroundings, the community around you, your siblings, the environment around you, and also the brotherhood. When you see Sagittarius and Gemini, well, Sagittarius deals with higher education, class, philosophy, long distance travel, things that are foreign or strange, religion, the law, in-laws. And whenever you see Sagittarius in the 3rd house, this could be a person that's highly educated. They may even be in and out of education. For the twin flame relationship, the Gemini energy is usually the early stages of twin flames, the breakup, makeup stages. And the Sagittarius energy is usually more together. That's why the 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius and is your higher self. Now, the 4th house is the family. It's ruled by the moon and Cancer. It deals with teenage to adult education, land and property, family and ancestors, the heart, or vehicles. Also deals with the person who raised you in a mother's position when you were young. That would be the Imam Kweli. Imam Kweli was going to be in your subconscious mind your entire time in this life. Now, when you see Capricorn in the 4th house is ruled by Cancer, that's usually an old soul. And also, Could even be a family business, or the family may have been worried a lot about what other people thought, because Capricorn deals with reputation. And it may not have been a traditional family. Now, fifth house is Aquarius. Now, your fifth house is a lot like your Uranus, because Uranus rules Aquarius. So this is a person that likes alternative stuff. They could have like a long distance relationship, or what other people might see as not a non-conditional relationship, or they may not see anything wrong with same sex stuff like that. That's usually when you have Aquarius. But Aquarius rules the 11th house, which is all about friends and association and groups. So the fifth house is all about friends and fun and children and taking risk, traveling, just being free. And we already learned from the first house, this is kind of what the person's looking for. In order to really open up to somebody, they would kind of have to be like that. Because if it seems boring or restrictive, the person's not going to be interested. And they also said the Libra jump into this was the other reading I did with Libra. They said the Libra jump into a relationship and then just bail out. And they said they'll just withdraw, and the person won't even see it coming. Like the other person won't even know, because the Libra won't talk to him, and the person won't even know. And then like the Libra will be done, started having a relationship or something with somebody else, and the person won't even know. The person they're in a relationship with. Now your sixth house kind of borders on your seventh house. But the sixth house is ruled by Virgo. So they're really taking your sixth house and your seventh house and putting it into your 12th house. Because your 12th house is all about endings and karma, which we'll talk about when we get there. But your 12th house is really opposite your sixth house. So really your 12th house should be opposite your sixth house. But the way they set it up, they did it on purpose. Your 12th house is really opposite your 6th and your 7th house. And then they have Virgo in the 12th house, and Virgo rules the 6th house. And this has to do with your soul, that vertex, that so-called soulmate, vertex in Virgo in your 12th house, and also your true life purpose. So mostly all this is on your border of your 6th and 7th house. So whatever I say about your 6th house, you can almost carry it into your 7th house, because it's all really on that border. So the 6th house is ruled by Virgo, all about service, health, healing, daily activities, small children, small animals. And this person, they're going to need a spiritual. So one thing about this person, they're going to definitely be connected to some type of spiritual. And spiritual is a big word. It doesn't have to be related to church. It can, but spiritual is really related to a lot of things. But you see it in both their 12th house ruled by Pisces and their 6th house ruled by Virgo. So you can't get past it. All right. So this they're gonna want a spiritual home, and they want to be in spiritual service. Now, what happened to Chiron retrograde? So there was some type of harm or hurt in the past life or in the past. But you can just look. You can look where it goes. It goes right over to really Chiron. So that Uranus. Now that Uranus can actually be a zodiac sign ruled by Uranus, like Aquarius, or it's just that relationship we're talking about. Because Uranus seems to be playing a big role with the relationship. Because both times it's on the border, right there with the 0 degrees. See that's the one you want to know. But what I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I mean they hit you right at a new moon, and you were born on a full moon. So to me, I would think they're trying to tell you something. And when I say they, I'm going to say creators, spirit, whoever really set this up. Now what I'm doing right now is typing in 0 degree relationship. See, nobody, I don't think nobody's going to have it. Somebody did have it. So let's just see, 0 degree relationship. It says, Dear Hoopers, what 0 degrees does to a relationship? Page not found. Exact. Wait. No, it's not found, but I did find Hoopers. All right, because we're gonna just take a moment with that. Give me a moment. I'm just gonna really look into this. Uh-oh. I didn't even put, is that Aries? This is wild. Hold up. Because I didn't even put 0 degrees Aries. But they knew, like this says 0 degrees Aries point. What is a 0 degrees Aries point? Vernal equinox in the tropical zodiac is a node. It marks the place where the sun crosses the equatorial plane going north. And this is the area your true north node. This is interesting. So it's a sun earth node as opposed to the lunar nodes. But see, but you got the moon right there. So they keep blending the sun with the moon with you. But they do that on a lot of natal charts. They're saying Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Your 4th house, your 10th house, really your 1st house, and your 7th house. So this is all family and relationships and career, and your personality through Aries. All right, movement from an inner quality to an outer manifestation. So it orients us to the world at large. Society, public events, and all relationships propelled from the individual to the collective. So again, they're trying to take whatever's inside of you and bring it out. Because they're saying you could become a really good teacher if you learn how to do that. That's why I try to tell people, I'm never the enemy. I'm trying to help people. But some people are just stuck in third dimensional and they're stuck in the ego. And instead of getting their information and taking notes and just working on it, they want to just keep arguing and keep defending it. And I'm sitting there laughing at them like, oh no, I'm not the person. I'm not here for that. I'm trying to help, but I will not be played out. So so that's the thing they have to do. Take notes and just be honest with yourself, however you're going to deal with it. But when a person, whatever you do, you can get your own angel card deck. You can get another reading. You can set goals. There's positive things people can do that. And if you notice a lot in the beginning on your other video, when we did the numerology, they kept saying think positive, think positive. Because when you see people getting upset and all that, or you're mad at somebody that has nothing to do with your life or the chart. You know, nothing to do with none of that. They're just reading the chart. That's just something wrong. It's just something really wrong with that picture. That's a lot of immaturity. So you have to fall back, slow it down, start setting some goals, and being honest with yourself. Because a lot of times people are in circumstances because they put themselves there. Like the world, like I'm the first to admit, the world has a lot of bad stuff, a lot of bad things happen. There's good things too. All right, I'll be back in a moment. I got to check something out. So like I was saying, there's good things too, but just got to learn how to deal with it. But the wrong way is to blame up. If you blame others, you're never going to change. And then life's going to keep on, you know, same old thing. Meet somebody, break up. Try other ways that don't work. Breaking up with them people too. Because the problem is going to be internal. Shoot. Bottom line. Like that's the first thing anybody has. Anything that happens around me, I always look at myself first and go, what could I have done better? Even if I had nothing to do with it. So that's just a sign of, that's maturity. You have to. If you want to ever find something real, you got to get out of the third dimension or the ego and just thinking, you know, blaming other people. So that's what they're trying to do on your chart. They're trying to make you go inwardly so that as you improve, you go outwardly, and then you'll be able to help people as a teacher and things like that. Through your experiences. But I want to get back to that, whatever I was reading. So it can represent a spectacular outrush of energies and involvement with the world at large. And it also has to relate with meeting with those with famous, respected, and experts in their field. So the point suggests how your will to be, or your I am, because Aries is I am, moves out from the subjective and to manifest into reality. Because I know your first house was saying that you might hold stuff in and hold stuff in. But I think what they're trying to push you to do in your relationship is to talk more. You know, you can't just hold it in and then you're not happy, or he's not Mr. Perfect. Now, but the other guy at work, he smiles at you. And you know you walked past the other guy at work 1,000 times and you weren't interested in him. Now you got somebody in your life you're supposed to be in a relationship with, but now they did something you don't like, or they're not perfect. And now the guy at your job is starting to look good. So you know what I'm saying? And this shit happens all the time. So now the guy you're in a relationship with is wondering what the hell happened to you, because y'all was cool 1 minute, the sex was great 1 minute, and now you're getting cold, you're withdrawing, he don't know. And now you're spending more time with this guy over here. And now if the guy gets offended or emotional and he tries to address that person, all they got to do is play the victim card. And he could get a bullet in his head. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody going to hear him. I've been there, done that. Ain't nobody going to hear him whatsoever. Even though he's just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And then she ain't talking. Because they already told you. She's just not talking, so you don't know what the fuck going on. So she got to get her shit together. If it was a guy, I would say the same thing. If it was a guy, he had to get his shit together. How you gonna do that to somebody? But this shit goes on all the time. And then they're mad at me. You know what I'm saying? Why are you mad at me? So that's what they're trying to tell you on a natal chart. Whatever internal, whatever it is, you got to get to a place where you start to deal with it. And if you're gonna be with anybody, just keep it 100. Try to keep it 100. If you ain't ready, you ain't ready. But don't have somebody think it's one thing when you know it's not. The person got to know how you feel. Because if they knew how you feel, they could adapt to it or change. That's how you find out. That's why I have no problems being honest. Because the faster I know a person ain't about shit, the better for me. Because why I have somebody around me that's gonna burn me even worse. So the faster I can find out what that person's about, I can make my own decisions how I want to proceed. All right, now we're still looking because you had that 0 degrees Uranus, which could be Aquarius. All right, now you keep talking about Cancer and Capricorn. I just want to see, is it? Let's look at your Capricorn. Nothing there. Your Cancer is not that, and your Libra is also not 0 degrees, but it's close to it because of Uranus. So we'll do your Libra. We'll do your Libra 0 degrees. Because it seems like this is more about relationship, as far as I could tell. Now, Libra says, I relate, suggesting how our drive to interact with others in socially significant ways moves from our inner world and out towards other individuals. Because that's what they were saying. Early when we were doing your numerology, it was somewhat of an internal person. And now, I'm not saying this is true about you, it's just what's in the reading. Not only were they internal, but they were somewhat sneaky, and they had no problem just walking over top of somebody else to get what they want. So what your chart is saying now is, okay, with this new moon and all this energy coming your way, that you got to stop doing that if you're doing that. I can only tell you what I see in the chart. You got to start being more considerate of the people around you, trying to be more working. And that's why you're really going to see it in your 12th house, because that's what that's all about. Her name is FalconAstrology.com. This is where I'm at. All right, now I want to go back to the AP. Aries, I believe AP is the Aries point. It is. Okay, so now just take our time. We're going to do Aries point again. Then I'm going to copy this page and put it. Because I've never seen this before, but it seems to be significant. They call it the Aries point. Okay, so the main thing you're dealing with the Aries point is Uranus and the moon. Moon AP suggests that your inner world of feelings, reflections, and intuition expressed in public ways, and these qualities are noticed by the collective, the famous psychic. So again, they're trying to get that inner stuff you have out. That's what the moon at your AP or at your Aries point is trying to do, to get it out, so that you actually have a better relationship. Because for some reason, you weren't opening up. And that's the real reason. Not that the guy was bad, but you weren't really even talking. You didn't give him a chance. Like the Leo said, he ain't perfect, time to move on. I'm not interested anymore. But now you gotta learn how to do that. I'll be back. All right. They even said Chiron. She's good. I like her. This is FalconAstrology.com. She even has Chiron. I'm trying to find your chart again. Give me a moment. Chiron also is 0 degrees. Suggests renown of our ability to teach, understand, strive for the impossible, and restore compassion. And I think when they say restore compassion, well, see, your Chiron is so you were probably hurt. So that's like I said, so that's why you put up this big defense system. But the defense system you put up is even worse than the hurt you were put through. Because like this is big. Like, they're not just saying somebody you're in a relationship with. They're talking about the people around you. Like, it's survival mode. That's why I said make sure you listen to that video about the Libra, because I totally went in. It's survival mode. But if a guy's trying to relate to you, he sees it as, wow, you know, she's really whatever, selfish or manipulative or secretive, but she's really kind of hurt, just trying to protect herself. But that's why sometimes if you talk, because people don't know, you know, because you just don't know. Because if a guy thinks he's kind of cool with a female and she just changes on him, and he's sitting there wondering what the hell just happened. And that's why after a while, the guy says, I'm sick of this shit. And then he don't want to go that level no more. So that's why more people talk. It just takes a little bit more maturity. It's easy to have an attitude and act all crazy, but a little bit more communication could make things better. So that's what Chiron's talking about, healing and learning compassion. Because compassion is saying what I feel if they did that to me. Because that's a big one with people. If they see that you're showing some compassion, they're more inclined to want to hear what you have to say. But if you're constantly doing the same selfish stuff, because that's how my twin is. And I remember this all the way back to 2004, I just studied her to see, is she ever going to show any type of compassion or something where she put something other than herself first? And she really never did. And to this day, she's still. So whatever she's been through, I know it was bad, but I can't help you if you don't talk. So he says, we are seen as a healer for those who have lost faith or are in despair. So you're going to start doing that if you're not already doing that in your life, because you have Pisces in your 6th house, which is the house of service. Pisces is about spirituality and helping others and inspiration and sacrifice. So they say the famous guru. So every time they tell you what that A point means, they show you what it means. Like, one was a psychic, one is a favorite guru. And then here goes Uranus. Because that Aries point is the same line, if you want to say the same axis. So even though Uranus is over there, it's still on your Aries point. And they made sure they did it that way because it's still your 6th house. It's still on your Aries point, but it's just over here. And it's in both houses. Because whatever you're going to have to work on in that 12th house is going to help you in your 1st house. And that's why they're doing that. Because they're really, in this lifetime, they're really trying to help you. And that's why, again, I'm going to say this again. Nobody's the enemy to a lot of people. Nobody's your enemy. We're trying to help. But you got to grow. It's a maturity thing. I know you could have been through a lot and everybody's hurt. But so everybody, I'm hurt too. So you got to take some responsibility and do proactive. Like they said, think positive. Think positive. You got to be proactive. Now, Uranus, Aries point suggests the ability to make sudden changes, rebel against dogmatic convictions, and break out of the safety zone is noticed by society. So again, you would help people that are kind of repressed and introverted. You would help them to come out. And it's maybe after you help yourself, or you may already have that skill already. So you'll be seen as surprising, inventive, and inspirational. Again, just like I said, and that's the whole Pisces. This Pisces in the 6th house and the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. So they say this person, they say the famous revolutionary, but I would rather say the spiritual revolutionary or the social revolutionary or the people revolutionary. So this is the first time I've ever found. I've seen her before, Astrology.com, but I didn't even know but now I have this. Because that was real good. That was awesome. That's why I don't like rushing. I like to try to take my time when I go through this because it's so much information you can learn if you just slow down and let spirit do its thing. Give me a moment. This computer was trying to go slow. You did a really good job. And as you can see, that's the only thing you have over there on your zero Aries point, and I'm gonna call it the Aries axis, is Uranus, nothing else. So now we know why you got the zeros there on your chart, which that was good. 0 degrees, but this is all about a new beginning. So I think the universe is going to bring you a new opportunity or opportunities to start to begin who you really are. Because you know that Scorpio too, you keep all of that in. You keep all of that in you. See, don't just assume somebody's going to get mad at you, because that's one of the reasons why people don't tell somebody what they really think, and then they don't know what the heck's going on, because they might be trying to help you and you're acting a certain way and they can't figure that out. And then they ask you what's going on, and then you turn that into an argument. And they're not even trying to argue. They're asking, hey, what's going on? You know, but it's an email or just something. And that's why I say, like, how I feel, like that energy is not productive to families. It's not productive to relationships, friendships. It's not productive. And you would never do that to your boss. You understand? That's my point. So we know you don't have to do it, but you would never do that to your boss. You wouldn't just assume I'm not going to tell him, or you're just going to withdraw from him and all that. You would never do that to your boss, but you'll do it to your boyfriend, your husband, maybe your kids, and some people wouldn't even do it to their kids. So why do we do it to the person we're in a relationship? So the only way that's going to change is for people to stand up, and I mean, they got to, because it's not going to change. Because I know me, it's something I just don't put up with. But I've been all that, and I finally realized, like I said, I've been on both sides. I've been extremely aggressive when I was younger, and then I became extremely passive later on. And I already know sometimes you got to meet that middle ground, and sometimes you have to say no, because nobody's going to change if you just let them run over top of you. And plus, it's not helping them either, because if it wasn't important, they wouldn't put all this on your natal chart. And if you look at how they did your natal chart, they really put that work in. So they're really trying their best to get you to stop being so internal and start releasing it, either however you're going to do it, through writing, however you're going to do it. But that's how you're going to have to get some healing for what's ever going inside. So whatever we learned about your 6th house, but we're still going to do Moon in Pisces. All right, let's do good fortune first. Good fortune in the 6th house. So just like I told you, you was born just prior to a full moon, just like I told you. This person is interested in self-improvement and self-discipline so that they can function with such efficiency that they do not have to pay attention to the daily basis of life. Their mind is on bigger things. They are a person who seeks the injustices in life so they may serve to improve others' lives. They can serve people who are confined to hospitals, prisons, or fight animal rights, or lead a group of workers in a labor union. Because remember, Pisces rules your 12th house, and it's going to be prisons, hospitals, mental wards, even churches. Any building is in the 6th house. Library, it could be any building. So this is a Virgo's house. Virgo's all about health and healing. So it could be a doctor, nurse, veterinarian, soldier, or sailor. And then we already learned that this person has some type of they said unusual job that takes a lot of aggression or a lot of power. And that's another thing what Uranus is about. That's good fortune in the 6th house. Now you want good fortune in Pisces. Okay, good fortune in the moon. Now they even said if a person is born at sunrise, and pretty much they were. If a person is born at sunrise, the good fortune will be conjunct the moon. So let's look at it. And it is. And I believe it at the exact same degrees. The emotional nature, nurturing nature, security themes, or public life will be an avenue for achieving good fortune, happiness, and success. So they're saying the more you let it out that's in you, and just grow as you let it out, and people get to see how wonderful you, the internal you is, you are, it can only get better for you, even saying good fortune. Good fortune in Pisces. Spiritual and mystical. So that's giving you the 8th house, 12th house. And then anywhere where you see Scorpio on your chart, anywhere where you see Pisces on your chart. So they'll be concentrating on higher ideas, but these higher ideas will be even mystical and spiritual, and that's why you have that 33. And that's why some of these people do join secret societies, or group of people, or either way they're dealing with secret knowledge, because they're dealing with 33. And also like I said, even if it's just stuff I do, I'm not in no groups, I'm not in no societies, but I deal with a lot of knowledge that most people either not aware of or just don't care about. So it's kind of like considered secret knowledge. All right, that is your 6th house. And by helping others, you can help with your healing. But the main thing you do want to learn, and they're going to tell you that in your 12th house, is you don't want to begin to help people so much. Because like me, I enjoy helping people and stuff like that. But what about your own private life, or what your the own things you want to do? So don't give that up. But I'm also, I'm a little bit more mature with this. And it took me a while to understand all this stuff, because I was real humble. So I thought maybe somebody knew more. But the bottom line is, you can do all you can do. But if your twin or whoever's not ready, they're not ready. If your twin is whatever, it's immature, they're not immature. And even if you do call them, it's still going to be some more BS, because they're not ready. Even if they call you every now and then or whatever, they're not ready. Until people are ready and whatever, it's not going to happen. And then even once you guys get ready, there has to be some type of mutual respect, because it's not cool to talk one day and then don't talk, and the person doesn't know what's going on. They have a right to know. And some people might say, well, you're being too you're rushing things. Well, yeah, maybe I want to get on with my life, because I'm not 15, I'm not 13, so maybe I want to get on with my life. So if if you don't know what you want, we could always just talk. So I have to know something. So that's not being pushy. You just gotta watch this. This world is just is loose, it's immoral, it's crazy, and that's why you really have to prophecy video, the prophecy channels, because a lot of people keep thinking we're gonna always have the moral. I can do whatever I want, but you're being deceived, and you're not always gonna have the moral, and you're gonna pay for whatever you do. So you gotta know the truth, so that you don't get so caught out and thinking it's all about you and all about vanity, and then that reality check hits you. All right. True North Node at 9:39. Now I think we did do numerology, and we did the 9:39. But let's look at that really quick again to refresh the memory. All right. $9.39. We'll do this real quick because I know I remember as soon as I look at it. To let go of situations that are no longer serving you and everything, and this is in your relationship sector. Focus more on your life purpose, which is interesting because that's where your true north node is, and your true north node is your life purpose. And I know we already looked at your 9 degrees Aries. But the overall theme was, see, Aries is all right if you do need to speak more, because how could it be a relationship if you don't speak more? And it just looks like in your first house, what you were doing, I think you were putting the other person ahead of yourself. You were putting, because the relationship, but at the same time, you were also not really happy, and you were not talking to the person. Whereas now in your seventh house, they're saying, "Oh no, you do have to talk." That's what you have to work on in this life. You do have to talk. Now Vesta is retrograde also, but that's going into your eighth house. But it's so close to your seventh house. So Vesta is the priest, but she also deals with the home and energy and stuff. But we'll talk about that when we get to your eighth house. But it's so close to your second house. I thought I'd mention it. So in your seventh house, it just seems like they're trying to get you to, just talk more, not necessarily be a bully, but you weren't doing it in your first house. So now they're trying to get you to have a personality, because a relationship, you still should have a personality. If your relationship becomes all about that person, there's something wrong with that picture. And if somebody really cared about you, they wouldn't let you make the relationship all about them. That's just selfish. So they're trying to get you to, understand that. All right, we're going to look at that Saturn retrograde. Saturn and Jupiter are both social planets. Now, what happens with Saturn retrograde, especially with Aries, not really good, because it becomes a tough taskmaster and can even be abusive. So when we look at that, we want to go back one more time to that 9-degree Aries. Nine degrees Aries. So 939 says let go of something that's not helping you. So if it was aggression, of course you can't. It's a relationship. You can't be aggressive in a relationship. You got to know how to talk to people and work with people. So just give me one moment. We're looking up degrees. And we're interested in 9 degrees Aries. Quiet, courageous, generous character. Success is achieved in a very unusual and prestigious occupation requiring boldness such as the military, big game hunting, politics, etc. So this person might have quite a remarkable career in chemistry, mechanics, metalwork, such as the manufacture of weapons. One wins many victories, including in the romantic field, which is fraught with hurdles and hurt feelings. And we already saw that through Chiron retrograde. So they're saying they can be victorious in a relationship. They just have to speak up more. So when I see 939, I think that's what it's telling you. You have to let go what you were doing before, which was you wasn't really speaking up. And I'm not saying be aggressive or mean, but the person should know how you think or feel. Because I think it's really wrong. I mean, women have intuition. I'm not telling women to be stupid. But if you just turn on somebody that's helping you or being nice to you for no reason, that's just weird. Now, sometimes it is astrology. It's something in the moon. Because like I said, the person that just jerked me again, they did it before. And they apologized and came back and tried to make it right. But then they did it to me again. So it's something going on there. So 9 degrees Aries indicates that success is somehow linked to deaths or destructions. So they're kind of telling you, you got to get rid of the quiet stuff, the introverted stuff, the stuff we already said in the beginning of your chart when we did the numerology, because that's when I was talking about your first house. So that's mostly on the other video, but then you can listen to it. And then if you want to listen to that other video, you can, but it has been covered in your video, so you really don't have to listen to that other video now. But it was a lot of good points made about the Leo, because she had a similar placement as yours. All right. So now let's go back to Saturn retrograde. So with a Saturn retrograde, you have to do things the first time, and you have to be patient. You can't rush through it. Practice your breathing. Be patient. You might have issues with authority. Now, and also working on legal matters such as contracts or delays. Deals may be delayed because of Saturn retrograde. But see, that's what I'm saying. Plus, this is your marriage sector, your family sector. You already heard what it said. I mean, the marriage relationship sector. Your marriage, your family through relationship. The fourth house is the family through which you were born into. The sixth house can be any home environment. But they kind of, it could, with Saturn retrograde there, you could actually have legal matters. So you have to be careful. You might cause legal matters, or the guy might cause them, but they could have been avoided if you just had better communication. All right, I gotta check something real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm waiting for somebody to get here. They taking forever. Now, hello. I'm gonna put this on hold. I'm gonna pause this. With a Saturn retrograde, delays may be further delayed, and things you think you already completed, you might find out you have to do them over. You might not be able to find them, or you may not have done them in the first place. So you got to remember, you also got that Mercury retrograde, which is communication. People have trouble understanding you. All right. I will continue. So this person may be in conflict with authority. They may feel persecuted by their boss or upper management. But they may also be abusive themselves. So they have a problem with setting limits, sticking to limits. Because Saturn direct is about rules, restrictions, standards. But Saturn retrograde means probably they have a problem obeying rules or following rules. But you may also have a problem like you hear me say it immediately. Oh no, that ain't happening. See, you gotta have that. You gotta know when. Don't let people do this and don't let. So they say you may have a problem with that because of that Saturn retrograde. You don't know how to say really no. And that is one of the things you have to work on in this life, because the universe is trying to use you to help other people, because they gave you all this strength, power, and gifts. But now you gotta learn how to work with the people, and you can't. You just can't be holding things. And some things, of course, you will never tell people, depending on who it is. But some things you can tell people. So you just can't have a habit of holding everything in, because they can't use you to help other people. So they say you may have a problem voicing your opinion, or voicing your opinion of those in authority, and therefore you allow yourself to be victimized. And patience will also be a lesson. So like I said, what I want people to understand, everybody has things to work on. But this type of person can make a whole lot of problems because they're just going by what they think. And really, what they're assuming, because they have this problem with victimization and things like that, what they're assuming is a problem is not really even a problem. But they don't talk about it. So you lose friends that way and stuff because you'll just assume somebody's trying to take advantage and they're not. You understand? There's something going on with you. And if you just let the person know, but you don't, so then you lose friends and stuff like that. So that could be bad karma too, because it's just bad energy, because you're kind of breaking up friendships and stuff with people that have been faithful to you. And it's just based on what you thought. You never talked to the person, never asked them a question. So it's things like that. So in a past life, you may have been in abusive situations as a victim of the abuser. So you may have been a prisoner, enslaved, or you may once been an abusive ruler. Now when you see Vesta, Vesta is about confinement. But like I said, she's in your 8th house. But Vesta is also about confinement too. But she's also a priest. Vesta is a lot of things, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So they say you may have been immensely impatient, looking for an easy way out, trying to make your life easier, especially if you were in an abusive situation. But you may start making others do the most smallest task that you could do yourself, but you'll make others do it. So you have to learn the lesson of accountability, the lesson of patience, holding yourself accountable. Don't expect other people to do what you should be doing yourself. Don't bully other people. And if somebody is abusive, you have to feel a certain way. But it's just common to kind of learn how to speak up. However you do it, some people just use a little comedy, like, this is the 4th time I've done this in a row. And because there's other people around, they make a joke like, this is the 4th time. So people know that you ain't cool with it or whatever. But if you don't say anything and they don't know, that's not their fault because they didn't know. And then the person will start to feel like, wow, this person's really taking, wow, this person. But that's all going on inside of your health that person doesn't know. So you have to learn how to constructively voice your concerns and opinions, and then you'll have better relationships with people. So if you do that, you will end the cycle of victimization, and that seems to be what your 1st house and your 6th and 7th house are about, and it's also in your 12th house as well. Okay, we already did your 10th house. We already did your 8th house. Now again, Taurus rules your 2nd house, but this is supposed to be the house of shared resources. But ironically, your resources are in the house of shared resources. So you have to be careful because that's implying that you're letting some guy take your money and stuff like that. And the love is based on, or it may have already happened, but the love is based on really deception because Neptune's there. Like I said, there are certain things that a female should always realize. You shouldn't be. I mean, there's exceptions to everything, but you shouldn't be. Your money shouldn't be going to a dude. At most, he should have his own money. Or you could have money, he has his money, and y'all might have one account where you share your money. But over there, he has his money, you have your money, because that's just not a good look. Now, Taurus in the 8th house can be highly sensual. Taurus loves massages, can be highly sexual. Taurus loves to eat and things like that. And I already read the whole list of what's in the 8th house, so Taurus is a part of all that. But you have to be careful. The danger there, like I said, is that Taurus is supposed to be your values, your money. But in the 8th house, it becomes shared resources. So it's not cool if in your shared in your money sector, your money house, shared resources are there. So you're sharing your money with somebody, but then when you get to your shared resources, it's just you. So that's not cool. So that, and with Neptune there, it's a deception. You're being deceived. So far you have a desire. You have a desire to really support your relationship, but they're telling you you have to learn how to speak out more and look out for your own interests as well. And that's probably why Vesta made it out of the 7th house right into the 8th, because she's trying to help you do that. Like Vesta will show up when there's an abusive situation. Like if you got an abusive boyfriend or a bully boyfriend, Vesta will show up, and she usually does show up right with Saturn. I've seen it all the time. When I see readings like this where the female's kind of weak and the dude be manipulating her, Vesta always shows up with Saturn, but it's usually around the 10th house. But in this case, it's over here in the 6th or 7th. Because Vesta is a priestess. She's also about sex. She's about spirituality. But wherever you see Vesta, that means it's a lot of energy you're wasting, and you have to check yourself, or you're going to have all kind of problems. And we're still going to find out what Vesta retrograde means. Give me a moment. I'm looking it up. I'm still reading it. Okay, Vesta retrograde represents a time to reflect on the way we serve others, a cause or belief, in addition to our sense of honor, pride, and sacrifice. So, retrograde Vesta, this is retrograde Vesta, this is what she does. Retrograde Vesta asks whether the sacrifice is selfless pleasure or martyrdom. So that's what she's asking you. Are you doing it for the right reason, or are you actually killing yourself for somebody else? Because that's what your 8th house is saying. Obligations or genuine responsibility. So when you see Vesta retrograde in Taurus, she's asking you to reassess your connections to groups, societies, and organizations, as well as your overall sense of duty. But it could be just to a person. Because I will go right to you. If I see Taurus in your 8th house, I'm going to go right to your 2nd house and see who's there. And when I see Venus and Neptune and Juno, I know it's a dude milking you. Like, it's a form of disease deceiving you. Societies and organizations, as well as your overall sense of duty. So, like, Vesta is telling you to take care of yourself, take care of your resources, and don't let anybody, because that's still abuse. People may not see it that way. Somebody don't have to really talk dirty to you, or like if they're taking advantage of your finances, that's still abuse. They're manipulating you. So Vesta is trying to protect you, as well as your overall sense of duty and responsibility for the betterment of humanity. You may experience stronger drive to contribute to meaningful ways as a healer or inspiration to others. So that's why she's trying to push you as well as to Vesta's trying to see. Vesta works with Virgo, and Vesta's about the home too. And Vesta will let you go through stuff to teach you, or don't do that no more. Like, I was real idealistic when I came out, but now I deal with reality. I still have my all true principles, but not based on the foolishness on this planet, because this is a funny place. This is just a funny place to live. So you have to understand certain things. That somebody can say one thing from the platform and be a totally different person. So you have to be aware of all that, because otherwise you can get doped out. You can get duped. Oh, this is a good person, and then you get yourself in a whole lot of problem, lose a whole lot of money, all kind of crazy stuff, because you're believing a bunch of crap. And that's what Neptune does. Neptune deceives you. And even with Pisces, see, even if you understand Pisces represents really an age of deception. And that's why I'm telling you, we're coming out of that age. So that's why all of this is important. So that is your 8th house. I'll be back. All right, now we're going to look at Moon in Pisces. Oh, one other thing I got to do. All right. Alrighty. Moon in Pisces. Those born with a Pisces moon will often have a strong psychic abilities, especially you because you had a full moon. They find it easy to walk a mile in someone else's shoes and are amazingly compassionate and full of love. So that's what they're really trying to get you to do, be more of service minded, help people. And like I said, I don't know you personally, you might already be doing it. But if not, that's what they're really trying to do in your natal chart. And it's your true north node, part of your life, that's your life purpose. Unfortunately, this capacity also makes it easy for them to lose themselves in others' problems. So that's what they're saying. You have to learn how to say no, because you could help people, but you just got to know when to not help so much, because otherwise people will take advantage of you. They are natural romantics, and they never forget a gift on Valentine's Day or someone's birthday. They also have a wonderful, silly sense of humor that some may find a bit off base. Pisces moon appears to know all the nuances of human behavior. They are easily amused. They may be labeled as spaced out, and that's why they're attracted to the Uranus or the Aquarius. But they are deeper than most people think. They are easily misunderstood since they often get lost in their dreams. Without the time to drift, Pisces moon can become overwhelmed with reality. They can easily become despondent by those around them if they are not careful. So that's why I said this is stuff I learned, coming up, because I was real idealistic, very spiritual, wanted to help out and all that. But you just see a lot of like dirty stuff. So you gotta know how much you can take before enough's enough, because that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna become despondent, or you're gonna become depressed, because you're looking at life like, wow, this is wonderful. How can I help out and everything? But other people looking at life like, how less can they do, or how can I do this? How will I doing this help me? When if you're really spiritual, it's supposed to be how can I help others. But when you start to see that, that could really mess you up. So you got to know all that. You got to be able to overcome those deceptions and realize, you help out, but you're not going to be taken advantage of. And you're also not going to help out somebody that they're just sitting there and you're just doing everything. Moon in Pisces is sweet and soft-hearted. They generally care about others and are an easy touch for a hard luck story. In other words, don't let people tell you, oh, this happened to me, I need, and take it from you. This moon sign sees themselves in everyone, so they emphasize with almost everyone in one way or another. They need to learn not to absorb what others are feeling, as they can be overwhelmed with the emotions they sense around themselves. They have an uncanny ability to understand things that they have not actually experienced, which makes them very talented performers if they choose that line of work. For those who are too shy to climb up one stage, Moon in Pisces can be a talented writer, musician, or artist. If they don't take care of themselves, what he's really saying is this. If they don't stand up for themselves. Now, why did I change that? Because his very next line is Pisces can get walked on. So it's not that you don't take care of yourself, it's that you didn't stand up for yourself. To prevent that, they need to recognize when they need to break or recharge themselves. And that's why you have Vesta there. While they need, but I'm still going to take, because I just had a situation like this, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. You know, all a person had to do is tell me what was up or whatever, and it would have been cool. I honestly didn't know. And to go to the extremes that they did, you know, they'd already sold me out the first time. So to me, it's still selling me out. I understand this and that, but you should have just spoke up. It's just one of them things. It's one of them things where somebody volunteers, but then acts like you're pushing them. But they volunteer. And I don't know. I figure if you volunteer, that's what you meant. But they weren't doing it for the right reason. And that's what this is talking about. They volunteer, but they're volunteering for the wrong reason. Because they really don't want to help out, and they really don't want to do it. But for some reason, they feel like they have to. And I think she felt that way because she sold me out before. So it was all this crazy stuff going on with her. So she lost a good friend. That's the second time she sold me out. And all the stuff I was helping her with, as far as anything natal chart, anything astrology, all the stuff I was helping her with, she won't get here anymore. And I do believe in karma. You bring bad karma on yourself because that's bad energy. So this person, Moon in Pisces, may need companionship, but they also need time alone, solitude, to refresh and spend time with God. Spend more spiritual time. They are very sensitive and can be easily hurt by insults, rejection, or criticisms. This soft-hearted person can get a bit of help from a religion or philosophy that will give them more strength than they have themselves. The moon can find a lot of fulfillment by being involved with charities or spiritual causes. They are romantic and creative, being very imaginative. They can be far-sighted or impractical, depending on the situation. They may develop anxieties during their lifetimes. They make loyal friends who appreciate beauty in all forms. Pisces moon sign tries to avoid mundane details of life. They're curious almost to the point of recklessness. As a child, they can easily be bullied into getting along with the crowd. This sensitivity needs to be nurtured rather than stomped on. When they feel unappreciated, they can retreat into a fantasy world that is maybe hard to let go. They are easily discouraged and may fall into self-pity or preoccupation with what can go wrong. It is important for them to have a meaning to their life. They are not attracted to material possessions, but they do like to show their emotions. So again, this is going back to Neptune rules Pisces, and your Pisces is over there with Scorpio, and you got to be real careful because this person might escape into drugs or some other self-destructive or non-beneficial behavior. Also, you may be blessed with material possessions, but you may not be attracted to them. But then somebody else may take advantage of them. So you have to be careful, and that's why I said. But one thing you have to understand: if you say, "Hey, I'm going to help out here," and you volunteer, it's okay if you change your mind, but don't make it seem like the people that you volunteered are bullying you, or you came to them with that. So you don't have to come if you don't want to. So don't do things like don't act like a certain person outwardly if that's not how you feel inwardly, because that's like being deceptive. That's deceptive. And I use this. That's what Ananias and Sapphira did. They tried to act outwardly, but that's not how they really felt, and they lost their lives. You have to be real careful with stuff like that. And then some people in the Bible, they were only giving what was a surplus. And then you had the old lady, but she really gave for the right purpose. She gave from her heart. So you got to watch the showy stuff, wanting people to look at you when that's not really who you are, because that's phony and that's not cool with God. So you just have to be careful. So that's what this whole reading was about: letting the inward you come out, and then working on it to improve, so that when you set the example for other people, you'll be setting the right example. And again, saying all of that, nobody's perfect. Everybody's got something to work on. All right, see, now you got Gemini, but again, short distances, and really your third house and your ninth house are pretty much similar. So it's all going to be about education. It will have something to do with travel. It's funny how that 939 is a multiple of 3, and your 1421 is a multiple of 7. This is the ninth house. So this person is going to be very mental, a thinker, educational, and in that house you might be a good communicator. See, I don't know how much your Mercury retrograde and your second house is going to affect, because Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So I don't know how that's going to affect you in your ninth house, but you may be quite the intelligent person and communicator in your ninth house. Foreign matters, foreign travel, in-laws, religion, philosophy, culture, art, education. So even when you go into a foreign country, you might be somehow associated with the brotherhood and things like that. And sometimes it's a physical travel to a foreign country. Sometimes it could just be over the internet or something. But you're still kind of helping out the community and the brotherhood over there. And because of that, you may even have brother or sister or siblings in a foreign country, or who are foreign, long distance away from you. So now we're going to look at Lilith in the ninth house. Alright, so let's do Lilith and Gemini. They strive for independence, particularly in intellectual areas. Perhaps you dedicate yourself to the beautiful literary arts or work in the public relations area. You have a diplomatic and psychological feeling and can entertain your fellow beings very well. Probably you tend to be, they say probably you tend to be superficial. See, sometimes this is written by foreign people, so they type it how they speak it, but we won't understand it. Probably you tend to be superficial, and I'm going to change probably to possibly, not probably. Possibly you tend to be superficial, and your objectivity is limited sometimes. And that's because of Gemini, because Gemini doesn't really like to go deep. Perhaps you can get enticed and bounded by ideas easily. You possibly like to change your fellow beings, especially partners, if possible, without their even sometimes your own knowledge. And we already covered that. In this position, emotions can be suppressed, unnoticed, or converted to rationalities. And we kind of already talked about that, Lilith and Gemini. So that's why they're trying to use Sagittarius energy to get your Gemini, because Gemini will tap out. So Sagittarius energy is trying to get Gemini to be more mature and hang in there and see the bigger picture, because that's your higher self is Sagittarius, the ninth house. So it's kind of, Sagittarius is trying to help your Gemini area be a little bit more mature, so that when you are with your 20s, you guys can get past it, so you can get to that Sagittarius energy or your higher self. The higher self would be the divine partnership. All right, so now you want Lilith in the ninth house. So they're very optimistic, generous. They have an interest in philosophy and religion. So they strive very intensely for education, and they overload themselves with knowledge. Like I said, this is a very educated person, or if they're not a very educated, like going to school, educated, they're still very knowledgeable. So they say it again, there is a possibility that others misjudge you or take advantage of you, or you negate your abilities and don't want to admit them. So we already cut, well, they're saying that for some reason you may not really let people know how knowledgeable you are. And you may have your reasons. Maybe you think somebody's going to take advantage of you, or you're just being very humble. Who knows? Well, they say the ninth house are like that. But still, you need a lot of independence and are characterized by honesty, fairness, and love for justice. Because that's all the ninth house. That's how Sagittarius is. And see, justice goes back to Libra, because Libra likes justice also. You generally are a missionary and make use of your psychological understanding. Again, your missionary might be you actually physically being a missionary or going somewhere to help people, or it might be something you're doing over online or helping people online, charity or something. So they say possibly others misunderstand you and there exists a danger of getting enticed by a very high and honorable people, but daily ideals making you appear as unworldly and strange to your fellow beings. So they're saying because you're kind of altruist, people may see you as strange. You would never say no to an education journey and immediately would get on the airplane. Also, the temptation of an immigration with an Emigration is very big here, whereby the danger of idolizing the destination of the immigration exists. Because a lot of times when you see stuff like this in the ninth house, they almost advise you don't go. But I'm sure if you check into it and really look into it, you may be okay. But you can't move like that just based on idealism. And they say this type of person will do it based on idealism. And they say, but once you get there and everything, you're going to realize you've been a victim of an illusion. So you have to be very careful, because when you see Aquarius, like in the fifth house and Uranus and all, these are people that will meet people online and just start believing in it and all that, and you'll be in for a rude awakening. Even like I said, sending money to the person and stuff like that. So you have to really work on that. That's why I say when you get your natal chart, take notes. That's what you should do. Arguing with me is not going to help your life any bit. Not 1 point of an inch. And when I see somebody do that, that's high immaturity. And I see it a lot. That's why I'm saying it again. That's high immaturity. Nothing I can do other than what I just did was help you in ways you can. First, I saved you a whole lot of money. Second off, I gave you step by step what you could be working on. So to turn around and come back at me, then I know, you know what I'm saying? There's nowhere else I can go with that. I'm not even trying to go nowhere else with that, because it doesn't make sense to me. So it says if you meet see the way they wrote it, I can't read it. So what I'm trying to do is read the whole thing so I know what they're talking about. Because the way they're spelling it, there's no way. It makes no sense whatsoever. Give me one moment. They say I had to take out a whole lot of words. Meet your desire to travel far away by just doing it. You may come in contact with many interested people, and you will be able to expand your horizon. But you don't just do anything, especially when you're going far, because you don't know where you're going or what's going on. So you got to watch your idealism. Just assuming everything's going to be great and everything's going to work out, because that's how a lot of people make a lot of mistakes and get themselves in a lot of trouble. A lot of bad situations because they don't think it out. Medium Coeli is also part of your true north node or your life purpose. So once again, it's spiritual. So this is some type of spiritual service you will be offering. And when you see Cancer, it is family. But you see Capricorn in your fourth house, which could be some type of family business, working from home, or some type of family activity. But that is your medium Coeli, which is part of your true north node. So essentially, you could have a relationship, but you have to learn how to realize if it's your relationship, then you should have a voice. You should never feel like you can't talk. You should never feel like it's just about the dude making him happy and you're letting this guy take all your money and all this. And then deep inside you're resenting it and all kind of stuff's going on with you. But it's kind of like your own fault because you're not dealing with it or speaking about it. So it's not his fault. Because the only way it's his fault if he's manipulating it. Then it is his fault. But sometimes it's just not like that. You got to speak up. You know, you got to let somebody know how you feel, or you know, whatever's going on. Your 11th house, which is empty, which is amazing. So is your 5th house. But this is all about having fun with friends and associations and groups, uh, leadership, traveling with friends, associations, and groups, romance, possibly children, taking risks. But if you notice, both your 5th house and your 11th house are totally empty. So I hope this guy is not kind of controlling you, because that would be what that would kind of look like. Especially when you see Saturn retrograde in the 7th house, it's abuse. Saturn is a bully, or the abusive. So I hope this guy's not controlling you, so you really don't even have any friends, and you don't get to go out with other people to have fun and stuff like that. And even if he is an Aquarius, when you do go out, it's not even fun with him, because it's nothing in your 5th house. It's like, but it's almost like that. It's almost like he's saying you should just be glad you're with me. But he's not fun. But he knows how to manipulate you financially. And this could have happened in the past. It may be happening in the future. This natal chart might be warning you. Or it may be a past life, but that's what I'm seeing. Also, with a reading like this, you know a new moon is coming. You know all this stuff we talked, all this new stuff is coming your way. Could just be new revelations or new ways of looking at things. I don't know, but you should definitely be making sure you're checking your horoscopes and stuff like that, or whatever you want to do. But you want to make sure you're on top of it. See, now over here with Virgo, you keep getting that number 3. All right, so we want to look at that. Give me a moment. All right, we want to look at number 3 really quick, because this is all in your 12th house. And that's interesting, because your 12th house is Pisces. It is spiritual. And number 3 is a big number with like Christianity. So number 3 indicates that the angels are trying to get your attention. The angels and the ascended masters want you to follow your intuition and inner wisdom. And that's what they keep saying. So that you are able to take appropriate actions at this time. Remember, Pisces rules the 12th house, and your moon is in Pisces, and we're going into a new moon in Pisces. So they're really trying to get you to that where you need to be. Use your creative skills and abilities to manifest your desires and enhance your life and that of others. So you keep hearing that. The angels encourage you to follow your life path and soul mission, which we just talked about, and optimism and enthusiasm. So when number 3 appears, it appears that your prayers and positive affirmations have been heard. But what I'm telling you, based on this reading, they're encouraging you to pray more, have faith more, and have positive affirmations. Because Sandalphon is the Pisces card, and he'll tell you have faith. You know, your prayers are being heard, so keep praying. So these prayers and things will be heard and will be responded to by the universal energies. Have faith that your goals and desires will manifest in your life at the divine right time. Trust your personal skills and talents and the love and support from the angels. Angel number 3 encourages you to be communicative and social with others and to live your life with joy, optimism, and spontaneity. So again, it just seems like this male friend may have really shut you down socially, because you don't see a whole lot of social stuff going on in your chart, but you definitely see his presence either manipulating or controlling you. So now they're trying to push you into the 12th house. And the 12th house is all about reckoning and closure. Closure, whatever in your subconscious mind, your dreams. They want you to come to grips with it to get the help you need. Now, see, they've been telling you about a powerful force. They said you have a powerful force in your 2nd house. That's Scorpio energy. Then they said you had a powerful force around that 6th and 7th house, coming with that moon energy. And whenever you have Jupiter in the 12th house, that is your guardian angel. And not only is he protecting you, but Jupiter is also going to send luck your way, going to send money your way. So this is amazing. And Pluto also is going to be working with that Scorpio energy. So when you have Virgo in the 12th house, it's telling you to work on your home, work on your past, anything in your subconscious, your service to others. You have to serve for the right reason. You are trying to help people. You might want to bring a home environment into like whatever buildings you're serving in, but you just don't want to be taken advantage of. And you want to help people to be able to do more on their own, but they shouldn't be relying on you for everything. So it's home, it's service, it's young children. Because even when you see Gemini, you're dealing with young children. So even something about what I said about your 9th house may have something to do with younger children. Because that's that teacher, Sunday school teacher, some type of teacher. That's also your 6th house. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So the more you do this, the more you do that, you're going to get blessed by the universe. The more you work with the young children. And even Gabriel tells you that. And Gabriel represents Cancer and the moon. But you see the moon right on that axis. So the more you do these things I'm saying, the more the universe is going to be blessing you. And you're going to have an abundance. And also because 22 is right there. Still talking about that 11-11, a twin flame relationship. Or the number 4, which is angels. When you see that vertex, it's telling you this is where you're going to have a significant meeting with someone, a significant event with someone, a significant breakup with someone, or even your soulmate, or which could even be your twin soul. But what they're telling you, in order for that relationship to work, you got to talk. You got to really not hold stuff up and the things that you may have done in the past life. Because a lot of times your ascendant is actually showing you stuff that you did in the past life that you're going to be working on now. In other words, it's like walking through one door into another. And you're walking out of one door, which could kind of be like the 12th house, into this door, which is saying, okay, you got relationship issues and you got home issues that you need to work on. And that's why your 6th house and your 7th house are connected right across from the 12th house. And they got that line going across that 0. So we talked about all that. So they're encouraging you in this life, and they're challenging you in this life to be more proactive in your relationships. Don't just sit back and don't feel a certain way. Because even Libra, you may, this isn't ideal. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Just run? Go with the next guy? The same guy that you walk past at the job all the time and you weren't interested. But now the guy that you were interested in, well, now you're finding out that he's not perfect. And now maybe to make him jealous or drive him crazy, or make yourself feel better, now you're flirting more with this guy at your job. So these things go on all the time. So they're saying don't do that. Talk to the person you're supposed to be in a relationship with. See if you can work it out. Things like that. But either way, you got this guardian angel that's blessing you or helping you throughout your chart. And they said that over and over again. So whenever you have a guardian angel, he kind of takes in, no matter what you do, your guardian angel is going to find a way in to make sure you're protected and you're guided. But that doesn't mean you can do anything. Don't be foolish. Because if you act foolish, or like that, he may not protect you. He may not even have the universal right to protect you if you put yourself in a situation because you chose that course. All right. Now, so we know what your 12th house is about. So what we're more interested is your conjunctions. So you want to know about Pluto. Well, what you really want to know first is Pluto in the 12th house. Give me one moment. The 12th house is where we build inner strength to overcome limitations, sorrows, and fears, and where the individual adapts to the collective. That's what they keep telling. It's time to adapt to the collective. No more. Whether you chose to be an isolationist or the guy kind of made you be an isolationist. Cause like I said, like it's just a fact. And they don't like when I say it, but what am I supposed to tell you? It's kind of like being pimped out because you're isolated. He's got the money, and you had this false conception of love. So he wants you isolated because he don't want nobody telling you the truth, or he don't want nobody getting he's got a good piece. He's getting sex, he's getting money, he's just getting it. He don't want you around nobody. So now by pushing you into, plus you're working on karmic debt in the 12th house. You're healing, but you're also working on karmic debt. By adapting to the collective. So the 12th house deals with what is hidden, karma, limitation, confinement, prison, betrayal, sacrifice, hospitals, intuitions, nuns, priests, again includes churches, or any type of religious building, secrets and secret enemies. But they're saying some of our secret enemies might not be enemies anyway. It's just a rejected aspect of ourselves. Initiation, ultimate understanding, and charity, given or received. So now they're saying Pluto in your 12th house, because I know for a fact Jupiter in your 12th house is a guardian angel. Pluto in your 12th house is an exterminating angel. So what I'm trying to tell you is that's why you see Scorpio in your 2nd house with all that fake love and all that stuff going on there. But see, that Pluto angel will get rid of that guy. Because that's why they try to tell you you have something powerful in your 2nd house, because you got this stuff coming out of your 12th to say, hey, listen, this guy's not doing her right. So they'll start to get rid of her. And then Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is your 9th house. And then you have Vesta retrograde there, because she's helping you too, right next to Saturn. Said, okay, this guy's a bully. We got to do something about him. And that's why I try to tell people, if they knew natal charts, you would be careful. Because you have planets and all kind of, because I know, I mean, they didn't get me, but I know if you just study your ancestors or Native Americans, they knew about sun dance and moon dance. Why do you think it was calling people sun dance? And because they knew these things were aware. And even if you go as far as back to the Greeks and Romans, they knew that stuff was aware. The Egyptians knew it too. They are aware of it. And all this stuff is well planned out. That's why you hear me say they. Like your natal chart's going to connect you right back to the universe. That's why I say not to have your natal chart is so unwise. And not to have it done by somebody who really knows what they're talking about and what they're doing is so unwise. And then when they do help you, to get mad at that person when that person has never done anything to you but help you, it's just bizarre. And when I say you, I'm talking about anybody. Anybody who does it. All right. So now Pluto is your exterminating angel, destroying harm that might otherwise befall you. So they told you had powerful people helping you. So you got the Pluto exterminating angel and the Jupiter guardian angel. You may be able to find and summon up deep inner resources when you really need them. So that's interesting. So that Pluto is with Scorpio. Okay, now they say if Pluto is poorly aspected. Well, it's not. It's not. It's actually very well. Very powerful. But either way, just be on guard against hidden negative energies. But they said it will be described by Pluto's other aspects and its sign and house placements. Well, that takes you back to your second house, where that fake love is. So that's what you need to be aware on. But they're gonna stop. They're gonna shut that down anyway if they haven't done it already. It might be separation or worse. Worst mistake a man can make is abuse a woman in any way, shape, or form, because everything comes from a female. That's silly. That's self-destruction, self-destabilization. So any negative energies, hidden agendas against your work and your plans, this exterminating angel Pluto will bring down. Now Pluto also purges and transforms, so they're also helping you purge and transform in your 12th house, because they're saying that they can just get you to open up. And when I say trust people, I'm not saying be naive or silly, but just not maybe feel so negative towards people. They know you could be a wonderful person. Not saying you're not, but that's the theme that's been throughout your chart since we started. And you also have the ability to tap energy from the collective pool of mankind. Mankind. But I'm not fully happy with that. Now I want Pluto in the 12th. Well, that was Pluto in the 12th. So what else did I want? Pluto conjunct Jupiter. You have an intense need to develop your intuition of the natural laws behind the reality in which we live. Well, then you'll be perfect on the prophecy channels. One way this can be done is by allowing yourself to be absorbed into the universal energy of which you are a part, and the stillness of that absorption. And just so you know, Vesta is confined places too, because she'll tell you to get alone by yourself, because sometimes that's necessary. Tuning yourself in and listening to it. Meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, emotional surrender, fasting, and some emotionally or physically based psychotherapies are techniques for achieving ascent. See, I don't know if you do that, because I know you have your own business, but I don't know, because this is kind of your calling. The whole Scorpio Virgo stuff is more your calling. And where you are, I was just that where you're at. I was just going through. Well, you're near Alberon. I was in West Long Branch. I was going to Monmouth Road tonight, but I know you're in that area, because I know off Monmouth Road they had a psychic over there before, and even on Monmouth Road further up, I think they had a psychic. Yeah, they got a psychic building right there. That's also Monmouth Road, which is also West Park. And if you go up West Park Avenue into Oakhurst, where 7-Eleven is, that used to be a psychic place right over there. So there are a lot of psychic places around here. It's probably more than I even know. The emotional power behind a belief system develops in such an intense and personal manner makes it difficult and in some cases impossible for you to really consider beliefs other than your own. So they're saying you already got the power. They're saying like if you tried like other stuff, it would be hard for you because they're saying that whole energy. Because Pluto is still going to be Scorpio energy. Pluto rules Scorpio. So they're saying, and Jupiter is all about fortune and expansion. So they're saying you would be really powerful. And it would be hard for you to kind of submit to other people's the way they do it. So your aspect of Pluto conjunct Jupiter can therefore symbolize leaders or followers of religious groups who strongly and rigidly advocate that they are right and all others wrong. Rather than teach others the truth, you may wish to indoctrinate them. It's important to realize that people's belief systems reflect his or her personal needs and desires, as well as their karmic and evolutionary development. Now, the reason why I don't agree with that is only because what if you study and you kind of know certain things and can prove it? Sometimes people say, hey, you know, leave me alone. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to believe. But that could be self-destructive. So, I don't know. That's a conscious choice people have to make. Some people go, hey, listen, I can't change the world. I'm not getting involved with all that. And some people say, no, I know what's true based on whatever, and they're going to stick by it. And that's not wrong if they really know that. So each person got to make a conscious choice what they want to do. So I disagree when they tell somebody you can't tell somebody something. You got to let them go their own way, because their own way might be destruction. Their own way might be death, and they don't know it. So somebody should tell them. And that's what the 12th house really is about. So you have to remember, Spirit gave you the truth. But when it came down here, they changed that. They changed history. They changed everything. So now you have people believing a whole lot of stuff that's not true. Just like your 12th house deals with prostitution, it deals with all that stuff. So you can't just overlook it. And it's there for a reason. It's in the 12th house for a reason. Your 12th house is telling you to clean up all your darkness, all the dark side from your 8th house as well, or any other part on your chart. It's telling you to really address all of that and reckon it. A day of reckoning and get the cleansing. And again, like I said, nobody's perfect. But we want to be careful because there's a reason why they put all that in the 12th house. So you have a lot of people that want to change facts to go by what they feel. They just want to do what they want to. They don't want to answer to nobody. And they're quick to tell you, oh, no, no. But that's not how it was designed. That's how they're changing it. So you have to be very careful. Because that's a day of reckoning, which is telling you there is a spirit, there is a judgment day, and all that's in the 12th house. That's why it says the day of reckoning. It's the 12th house. And that whole Pisces, fisherman, Jesus Christ, all this stuff works together. So you don't want to change it just because somebody wants to do what they want to do. And then they want to lie about it. So you have the capacity to transform or rejuvenate existing beliefs and the potential for understanding deep and profound truths. Your path could carry you into magic, reincarnation, psychic experiences, psychology, religious cults, or the occult. Alright, that's Pluto conjunct Jupiter. And now Jupiter in the 12th house, which is all about luck that comes out of nowhere and a guardian angel to make sure you're taken care of. Jupiter used to rule Pisces, just so you know, but now Jupiter rules Sagittarius, Neptune rules Pisces. Give me one moment. Alright, let me read this. You have unseen protection through a guardian angel with Jupiter in your 12th house. This is a good placement for work in hospitals, institutions, or a career involving understanding and self-sacrifice. Psychology, counseling, and guiding others to be compassionate may be a special skill you have. Work with mental patients or prison inmates is possible. Complete your ideas privately before presenting them. You will experience gain through your enemies. who may become friends with Jupiter in the 12th house. So again, he'll help, like even that guy that they seem to be really talking about. Because even the 7th house can be about open enemies. So that could be somebody you're in a relationship with. So that's the main thing you mean. In Jupiter, he's trying to make your way successful. He's trying to make you really help other people with healing and more sociability and talking and things of that nature. But we already covered it, so I'm not going to say it again. But Jupiter's helping you. He's also going to bring you luck out of nowhere. Expansion, good fortune. And he's your guardian angel, so he'll protect you too. And Pluto will eliminate. But with Pluto, there's always going to be transformation and death and rebirth. And that's why I think in your when we did your 6th house, they said that when we did your 6th to your 7th house, they said things might improve, but it might be some type of death first. So again, make sure you're staying up on the new moon. The new moon is less than 3 days. In your sign, your moon sign is Pisces, and the moon is in Pisces. You got changes coming your way, and we covered everything we can to get you ready for it. Now, if anybody is interested in anything happen that you see, we do anything intuitive, anything astrology, anything with the cards, especially the angel cards. Phone consultation with those who feel they need it. We do research for people. We do just about everything. Numerology, life purpose, numerology, name and birthday, life numerology, all these things. So you can contact. We do have sales going on as well. If you don't see it out here, you can always ask. All that information is in the description box. And let me see what else. So like I said, any questions, you could always just ask. God bless.